For Goliath, we will be announcing actually what we called our D6 development milestone in the next couple of weeks as we move through to larger pouch cells, so the P1 prototypes.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Ilika CEO Graham Purdy. Graham, very good to speak with you. You're up with the first half trading update today, and it looks like you made lots of progress both with Stereax and with the Goliath batteries over the first half of the year.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a busy year so far for us, and the team's been working, really hard to deliver on some of our targets. So yeah, plenty of stuff to talk about.
So take us through some of those targets that you have delivered on so far, Graham.
Well, let's start with Stereax. I think, the really great progress that we've had so far this year is really substantial completion of the installation of the equipment that we sent over to Certex facilities in Lowell in Massachusetts, and the commissioning of that equipment, getting it ready for running the initial lots of batteries through the process, qualifying the performance of those batteries, and then getting them ready for commercial sales next year to those 21 customers who are lined up with initial offtake agreements.
You've also made lots of progress with Goliath, Graham, and we've chatted recently about shipping of the P1 prototypes of the D5 testing for Goliath, which really did confirm the superior safety characteristics of that battery.
Yeah, I think that's a really important area to focus on. Clearly sharing those P1 prototypes with customers is a demonstration that actually we have got substantial commercial interest in the product, and there are tier one manufacturers and OEMs who are putting their time and resources into testing the batteries. And there's that fantastic video that we published that we've talked about previously, where we put an existing NMC cell, an existing automotive chemistry battery side by side with a Goliath solid state battery, and we do this nail penetration test. The standard battery goes off like a firework on the 5th of November, and the Goliath battery gives a very muted response. It's the most boring video that you'll ever watch. Side by side, it's a very visual demonstration, actually, of the benefits of the Goliath approach. And this then, of course, translates into that longer range, lower cost, light-weighted design that the pack designers are able to really capitalize on when they build that into a vehicle.
And as you say, I mean, you've been interacting closely with many of those global automotive OEMs, Graham. What are the next steps then for Goliath?
Well, for Goliath, we will be announcing actually what we called our D6 development milestone in the next couple of weeks as we move through to larger pouch cells. So the P1 prototypes were actually 2 amp hour cells, and we'll be moving towards devices that are 5 times that capacity, so 10 amp hour cells, and these start to become very interesting to pack designers, and then we'll be issuing larger prototypes, which we'll talk about in the coming weeks next year for some further testing and validation of the technology by the OEMs before, at the end of 2025, we'll have what the automotive industry calls A samples, or minimum viable product, ready for assessment, and that'll allow us to respond to requests for quotation from the big OEMs who are implementing this technology.
So you kept your full year guidance unchanged, Graham. How's the second half looking so far, and any other milestones that investors should be looking out for?
Yeah, business as usual for the second half of the financial year. We are well funded, and we have a lot of the relationships in place for delivering on the remaining milestones this year. So there'll be some interesting news relating to Stereax as we complete that commissioning of the facilities, and we then start to deliver commercial samples of the M300 batteries to customers in 2025. And then on the Goliath side, we've got those larger prototypes to deliver that we were talking about, and some feedback on some of those customer interactions as we move through to closer commercialization.
Looks like we're going to be talking again very soon, Graham. Thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thanks for the update.
That's Ilika CEO Graham Purdy.